Hey, Tribute Band Central. Thanks so much for joining my channel today. We have a really great interview. I am here with The Reflex, a tribute to Duran Duran. Have two members, so double the fun of this interview.
Oh,
Two members of the band, Doug Easterly, who does vocals, and Howard Flint, who is the keyboards and also kind of acts as the manager. So thank you so much for joining Tribute Band Central, guys.
yeah. Good morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Harlan.
You bet. You bet. Glad you're here. So tell me a little bit about The Reflex, a tribute to Duran Duran.
Well, I think we're fairly young as tribute bands go. Not maybe not personally young, but we're young for a tribute band. It was about 2 years ago that I met a guy named Stuart Anthony who had the concept of doing a Duran Duran tribute. Uh, Probably for the much the same reason a lot of people do tributes is either there's not a good one out there or there's nobody doing it. And he came across myself and Eric, who's the bass player, and
Phenomenal bass player.
yeah, Doug or Stuart was looking for a keyboardist and a bass player that could play Duran Duran, which is not easy to do. And so we got it together coming out of COVID. We spent about a year in pre-production if you come to see our show, you'll see there's a lot of production to our show. We spent about a year doing that virtually, and then only about a month and a half before our very first show in 23 did we ever get into the same room and start playing. And it was lightning in a bottle at that point. We realized we really had something. And so it was a lot of fun. We think we bring the Duran Duran experience. If you grew up on those albums and you have a lot of emotions and memories around that music, you're going to be very satisfied with this.
That, and you saying that is really important to tribute bands. The thing that brought me in as a fan and a member of the audience is how it takes me back.
Hmm.
I graduated from high school in 1985. Um, and albums were kind of expensive. I'll be honest, I don't know that I owned a Duran Duran album, but I certainly
Right.
loved the music. And I've told Doug I'm a huge James Bond fan.
Yeah.
So, View to a Kill, I just can't wait to hear that song.
You
Um,
will be happy
It's
because
a yeah,
it's one of the highlights of the show for
talk
sure.
about production,
Yeah.
there's something really special with that. You'll see it.
Great, great. Well, let's talk about some of the songs. So, what is your favorite song to play?
You go, Doug.
Oh, favorite song to sing would probably be Ordinary World is just so I'm kind of a sucker for great power ballads, and I think Ordinary World is unbelievable.
One of the best.
The way that Simon wrote it and his vocal delivery is unbelievable. Also, Save a Prayer is just such an emotional song. Seeing the crowd sing every words, and so that's what I would have to say. I have to go with those two.
Yeah, I would. So back Harlan, back to View to a Kill. That's one of my favorite songs to play because the evening of doing Duran Duran songs is an evening of unexpected delights. So people will say, "Oh, I know Duran Duran," and then they'll sit there in the show, and you'll see people go, "Oh, I forgot about that song."
Yeah.
And then when we see, and you'll see Saturday when we start this song in a unique way, people go, "Right, they did a James Bond song." And in fact, it was a number one hit. It was the only, right? The only James Bond number one song
Yep.
was
I
View to a
believe so.
Kill.
Adele came in third.
Oh, is it for the ones they did recently?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a fun song. I love doing "Hungry Like the Wolf," even though that's probably one of the most played songs, because we do it early,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Yes, this is why I came."
Outstanding. Now, The Reflex is one of their songs. Is how did you pick that as both the name of your band and how did that come about? How'd you pick that name?
That came fully formed out of Stewart. He just said, "I want to do it, and we're going to call it the Reflex." Frankly, I wanted to call it Barbarella. I know that would be a cool name, but in retrospect, I would have been wrong. The Reflex was a much better
We'd
name.
have barbershops being
Barber,
called
yeah, I
that.
know exactly. We'd be in like sci-fi 60s suits. Uh, but no, the Reflex, it fits. It's synonymous with Duran Duran as their
It's
other
recognizable.
yeah, as their number one hit, and it's It's the one of the pinnacles of the show is doing that song, which is not an easy song to do. That's the one of their first big collabs with Nile Rodgers. And that song, if you hear interviews with the guys, that song wasn't that way. The Reflex that you hear now is not the song they wrote, and they sort of put it through Nile Rodgers, and he came out with what you're hearing today, which you can't imagine it another way. And we really do that song justice. That is a, wouldn't you say, Doug?
I would say that, yes.
Yeah, it's phenomenal when we
But
get to that point.
ironically, that is my hardest song to sing.
There's a lot to it.
The vocal range that he accomplishes in that song is unbelievable.
Yeah,
As well as the just very well written,
yeah.
hit that he came up with.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that song. For those of us playing with two hands at a time, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, and that leads right into my next question, which I always ask every tribute band that I interview. What's the most technically difficult song, and how does that play into the show? Are there some that are really, really tough that you really have to focus on? Just tell me a little bit about that.
We should have asked Eric. Eric, the bass player, would have a different answer.
He has the hardest.
He gets the hardest job. He and the guitar player probably have the hardest job. We got it easy.
Yeah.
The keyboardist and singer.
I
I don't know.
mean,
What would you say?
yeah. Um, hardest stuff for me. It's that vocal and reflex for sure. And because, oh, we're giving away too much.
That's all right.
It's at the very end of the show after 23 songs.
Right.
Which does not make it any easier.
Yeah. And
as a
he's
vocalist, but he is Simon has provided such a challenge for me that it's just I love it. I just dive into it. They're like boot camps, and I get to sing these songs of my heroes that I grew up with. So,
and he's not short on lyrics either.
no.
He's, it's like 3 full verses of lyrics.
Oh yeah.
The chorus changes every time. Oh, that's great. Let's change up. So he's Doug has more work to do than just looking good and standing up there. He's got a lot of with what brain cells he has left. He's got to remember a lot of stuff.
Well, and not just normal lyrics. He's a poet. I mean,
Yeah.
if you listen
Yep.
to the lyrics, read the lyrics of Simon Le Bon, it's beautiful. It was really hard. I mean, it was not only learning the words and the melodies, but deciphering the messages he was coming up with.
Yeah.
His imagery and his poetic writing is just amazing.
Yeah.
So
And you also see that we have a custom video show, that runs with our concert.
Uh-huh.
And so a lot of that we tried to depict without being too literal.
Mhm.
That we're doing in the videos behind us. And so we think that really makes the whole show.
and that's all him.
Well, that was all Stuart, but it was a collaborative effort. And we'd like to think that makes us unusual. And again, we are calling it a live multimedia experience, and I think we deliver on that. And so
Great.
and not to get ahead here, but that's why Mad Life's a great place to see it. We literally built this show for Mad Life. We knew it was going to be our first concert in 23, and we built this show knowing we had a video wall behind us.
They did 2 shows back to back on their very first show.
Very
on
first,
stage.
yeah, it was great. We just played a show in Trussville, Alabama, which is north of Birmingham, a couple weekends ago.
Yeah.
And that was an outdoor amphitheater with a gigantic screen
Ooh,
behind
excellent.
us, and it was to see the show. We knew the videos are good, and we knew it worked, but then you see it on this sort of football field size screen behind us,
Jumbotron.
and we're like, yeah, that's exactly the look we were going for with that.
Excellent. I'm excited. I can't wait. So let's plug some shows. Obviously the one that I'll be attending, and I consider Mad Life kind of my home venue because I go
Good.
to most of the shows that I review there. And I'm like you. They're heads and shoulders above a lot of other stuff. And it for my listeners, June 7th, it's a early show, I think 6:30, right?
Yep.
Which for the clientele of Duran Duran, that is excellent. Another good reason why my wife and I love to go to shows there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, so what other upcoming events do you have that you'd like to mention? And for my listeners, I will put a link to their website in the comments. So you don't have to write this stuff down. Just click on that and it'll have all your shows, but give us some that you want us to look at.
Well, it's regional because we don't play Atlanta all that often, probably maybe 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
So this is your chance to see us locally here in the Atlanta area. Um, Another place where we're big is Charlotte, North Carolina. We started going there last year, and downtown Charlotte is
Mhm.
a venue called Amos's South End, which is a famous old theater club, big. Downtown gets all the acts coming through, and then we play a place up north of Charlotte, and we will be there in August, called the Boatyard, which is this party central on Lake Norman, which is sort of the Lake Lanier of
Okay.
Charlotte.
Okay.
So it is just a great place to play. But we do a show out there, and hopefully in 26 we'll be bringing this show to Atlanta, which is called Roxanne to Rio.
Okay.
And we do this show with another tribute band called Synchronicity,
Okay.
obviously, the Police.
The Police.
The Police, we tried it last year in Charlotte on a fluke, and it's just gone gangbusters. And
Wow.
what's hard is that they're real busy and we're real busy, so we're trying to find dates together. But we've got some of the big promoters from Atlanta that are trying to find time for us to do that show, like downtown theaters in Atlanta, because I mean, can you imagine a night of Police and Duran Duran hits?
Oh,
It's just nonstop.
Well, yeah.
yeah, I will be there. If you're in
Yeah,
the area with that, I will definitely be there
yeah,
because, yep, obviously I was a Police fan also.
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean,
that's
Amos was
outstanding.
my first
Outstanding.
show with these guys,
yeah.
and
So
yeah, they put me in front of 600 people on my first
on the
show
first show, there you go, Doug. Go
with the
for it.
Police guys. It's
That's
trial
great.
by fire,
Yeah,
but it was unbelievable.
yeah, that's a great.
Packed
So
house.
we've got we have North Carolina, South Carolina coming up. We're heading all the way down to Fort Lauderdale to play a big casino in July.
Oh, wow.
There might
Dania Beach.
Dania Beach Casino all the way down Lauderdale. We'll just tease that there are some high profile shows still left to book in this year that we're talking to promoters. Again, there's not been one of these that we do, which opens some doors immediately and some doors not need a few weeks, months to think about it. And so it's been exciting to put this together and play with really some of the most talented people I've ever played with on stage, including this guy. And so we have a lot of fun up there, but the show delivers.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I just have one more question for you.
Okay.
And this is one that I always ask everyone. So, do you guys go to see tribute bands in your off time?
We try to. It's kind of ironic because we have that circle of really talented musicians that we all help each other out and when we can, but we're all working at the same time. So it's hard, but I definitely, it's nice every now and then to be able to get out and see our peers do their thing,
Yeah, it
and
keeps things
just
sharp.
local tribute bands that are able to come through and
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
there's a Genesis one that comes to Mad Life called Abacab,
Abacab.
which we've been trying. I think Eric, a couple of guys in the band got out to see him, but yeah, we've got to have an off weekend in order to do it. But they're very good. There's an ELO one that travels the East Coast called Ticket to the Moon. So there's just it. I say this, and I don't think it's hyperbole. This is like a really special time in tribute band world. I mean, and I'm
Yes.
not, I mean, yes, I'd like to think we're included in it, but you've got Synchronicity, Departure, Carpool. You've got so many fabulous tribute bands here in the Southeast right now that, go ahead.
everybody wants to feel young
Yeah.
and not be stressed. I mean, the world's a stressful place.
Yep. No, and you do get to the endorphins you get from listening to this music that takes
Oh,
you back to hopefully an idyllic time in your life.
yep.
To hear some of these tribute bands, and again, I think we deliver on that as well. We hear it from people, from the shows. We're not Duran Duran, but we're a proxy at that evening, and it's special to people, and so we're honored and humbled to be able to do this.
Absolutely.
Great, great. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out to be on the show, and it certainly helps my channel. For all my viewers out there, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And just one last time, that's Mad Life at June 7th. And the Reflex, a tribute to Duran Duran, their website is in the comments, so click on that. And when you attend the show, I will be there. Please come up, say hello, say it, tell me that you saw this interview, and subscribe to the channel. And looking forward to it. So
Yeah,
again, thank
they'll
you
be able
so
to find
much.
you, Harlan.